These notes are over percent composition. Okay, so if we look at these two different compounds that we have ibuprofen and we have aspirin. Okay, they have similarities in that they're made up of the same elements. Both of them have carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, but you'll notice that they're in different amounts. Okay, so here, like ibuprofen has 12 or 13 carbons, whereas aspirin only has 9. Okay, so just because they have the same types of elements that make up their compounds, they are in different ratios, and that's what causes them to be two different types of medication in this case. Okay, so it's useful to know because if we know the percentages of each element in a sample, we can determine its chemical formula. And so they can kind of use this reverse engineering to figure out if somebody had passed away, they can kind of look at the substances inside their blood and break down those compounds and see what the percent composition is to determine, like, maybe if they had too much ibuprofen or maybe if they had aspirin, they can see if those medications caused problems with that patient. So if we were to look at a compound, let's say lithium oxide, and we wanted to know what is the percent composition of a lithium in a lithium oxide. Okay, so in order to find the percent composition of elements in a compound, one, we need to know the molar mass, which we've practiced before, but then also we need to know the molar mass of the element inside that compound. Okay, so we are going to be focusing on lithium. So first, we're just going to find the molar mass of the entire formula, chemical formula, which we've practiced in previous lessons. So first we're going to write out the formula, Li2O, okay, and then we're going to calculate the mass of lithium and the mass of oxygen. So remember, to calculate the mass, we're going to first count how many of that element we have in the formula. So lithium, we have 2, oxygen, we only have 1. Okay, and then we're going to multiply that by the atomic mass number that we have on the periodic table. So remember, if we have the periodic table, lithium is going to be 6.94, oxygen is going to be 15.999. Okay, so because I had 2 lithiums, I take 2 times my 6.94. Here is the mass of lithium in this compound. And then for the mass of oxygen, we only have 1 times the mass on the periodic table, so we get 15.999. Okay. To find the molar mass of the entire compound, we're just going to add the 2 components together. So 13.882 plus my 15.99. And we get the 29.881. Okay, so all of that should be review. It's what we've been doing for the past few lessons. For step 5, what we're going to do is we're going to divide the mass of the part, whatever part we're trying to find, by the mass of the whole and multiply it by 100 to give us a percentage. Okay, so in this case, we want to know what is the composition of lithium in lithium oxide. So we're going to take the mass of lithium, which we actually calculated in step 2, divided by our molar mass, which we calculated in step 4, and then times it by 100. So our 13.882 divided by 29.881 times 100, we're going to get 46.45. I'm just going to round to the nearest tenth, so 46.5% lithium. Okay, we could go through the calculation of oxygen and do the same thing. So if we were finding percent of oxygen, it would be the 15.999 divided by the whole, which is 29.881, times that by 100. Or what we could do is we could just subtract. So 100 minus the 46.5. And it would be 53.5. So either way, if we were subtracted from 100, since there's only 2 elements in this compound, we can just subtract from 100, or we could go the long way and do the 15.999 divided by the entire molar mass.